Let us understanding what is GST. Before that, let us go to understand what is tax. So, tax means it is coming from the Latin word taxor, which means to estimate. Tax is the amount paid by the person staying within the country. It is levied on individual, business, property. The Finance Minister of Government of India is responsible for levying and collection of most of the taxes in the country. Now, what is tax? What are the definition of tax? Tax is a mandatory amount of money that individuals and business required to pay to the government. It serves as a way for the government to collect funds for finance, public services such as education, healthcare, infrastructure and more. Tax is a compulsory contribution that is being imposed on income, profit, goods and services. What are the objectives of tax? First one, revenue generation. Through tax collection, the government collect the revenue for the essential public health services, roads, railways, etc. Then, to balance the economic stability of the government, through the tax collected from the individuals, it has been used for the growth of the economy in the country, redistribution of income, promotion of economic growth, regulation of consumption. Then, types of taxes in India. There are two types of taxes, direct tax and indirect tax. Direct tax is that tax which is imposed directly on individual and entities based on their income or wealth. Examples of direct tax are income tax, corporate tax, and these taxes are governed by the Central Board of Indirect Taxes (CBDT). Indirect tax. It is tax levied on the consumption of goods and services. It is not directly levied on the income of the person. The consumer of goods and services is required to pay the tax along with the prices of goods and services. These are taxes governed by Central Board of Indirect Taxes and Customs. Now, the difference between the direct taxes and indirect taxes. First one parameter, tax imposition. It is tax on the income or profit of the taxpayer under direct taxes. Under indirect taxes, it's on goods and services. Course of payment. In course of payment, under direct taxes, the taxpayer pays a tax to the government. Under indirect taxes, the taxpayer pays a tax to the government through an intermediary. Under paying entity, under direct tax, it is for individual and business. Under direct taxes, it is for end-to-end consumers. Then rate of tax. Under direct taxes, the rate of tax is decided by the government based on the profit and income. Under indirect tax, the tax rate is same for everyone depending on the type of goods and services. GST. What is GST? It is a goods and service tax. GST is a tax on supply of goods and services. Goods and service tax means a tax on supply of goods and services or both, except tax on supply of alcohol, liquor for human consumption. For the time being, GST is not levied also on petroleum products. It is a tax levied on every value addition. Goods and service tax came into effect on 1st July 2017. GST follows ideology in one nation, one tax. GST is a single destination-based indirect tax levied on the value added to goods and services at each stage of supply chain. Following are the rates of GST tax: 5%, 12%, 18%, 28%. Now, under state tax merged under GST, there is octroi and entry tax. Entry tax is tax on the goods while entering from one state to another. Purchase tax is tax on the purchase of the goods and services. Then there is luxury tax, central tax merged into GST, excise duty, that is tax on the manufacturing of goods and services. Central sales tax, service tax. Objectives of goods and service tax: to create a non-uniformity in tax rate. The primary goals of this goods and service tax legislation to achieve national uniformity in indirect tax rates. The countrywide GST rate is the same. To remove the cascading effect of tax, levying tax on tax is known as cascading tax because the taxpayer receives an input tax credit. GST is also applied to net value added component of the transaction and not on the entire value. To make the process simplified, GST is a comprehensive indirect tax, of which 17 indirect taxes have been combined to form one. First one is central excise duty, except on petroleum products; service tax, value add tax levied by the state government; central sales tax, additional custom duty; entry tax, entertainment tax, luxury tax, tax on lottery.